Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion around the zodiac sign placement of the Saturn. So guys, as you all know that when it comes down to the importance of Saturn in our daily life, it cannot be undermined. It hardly matters in which capacity you are operating right now in your professional life, whether you are a top CEO or whether you are engaged in any of the small job, whether you are doing something legal or whether you are doing something illegal. Saturn operates equally on everyone because Saturn is responsible for our actions, for our professions, for the karma. So because of which guys, a lot many times what happen is that in today's day and age, people have now attuned their life with astrology to such an extent that I rarely find people who are only inclined towards knowing the predictive part. Like a lot many times when people book their consultation with me, they are not only concerned about knowing their answers, they want to align their life with their planets. They want to align their life as per their ongoing dashas, as per any of the significant upcoming transit as well. So that is the only reason guys, it intrigued me that whenever people talk about planets and their zodiac sign placement, they generally get biased only looking at the way it has been explained in the classical text. Now we all know that if Saturn is going to be placed in a sign of exaltation like in Libra, or Saturn is going to be placed in its Mool Trikona sign, that means in the Aquarius. So we all know that Saturn is in a dignified state and it has got the capacity to manifest good results. But that does not mean that if Saturn is going to be debilitated in someone's chart or Saturn is going to be placed in an enemy sign, so that means Saturn is not going to be giving you any good results. Guys, you know this thing that the dasha of the planet Saturn tend to remain almost of 2 decades, like almost of 19 years. And also even when Saturn is transiting to a specific zodiac sign in transit, it stays in that zodiac sign for almost 2.5 years of time. So the point which I'm trying to say over here is that rather than being inclined, being scared or being concerned about that the predictive part as per the classical text, that if Saturn is going to be placed in my natal chart in this alignment, these all are the results which I can expect. So if you have that fatalist mindset and this is how you see astrology, you might not be able to get best benefited with the kind of knowledge or the kind of wisdom which astrology holds. But let's say for example, if you are willing to adapt, mold your life as per your planetary alignment, if you are willing to accept your life the way it has been given to you in the form of the planetary alignments in your chart, you can definitely get benefited. Same way guys, like it's not only about the Saturn, like the way for example when we talk about Venus. So Venus's zodiac sign placement tells about your style and your approach towards romance, towards luxury, towards fashion, towards anything which is beautiful, how you express your appreciation for the beautiful things. So same way guys, now in this video, just forget about the way it has been written in the classical text. In this video, we will only be focusing towards that in whichsoever capacity you are working in your life. This could be whether you have your own business, this could be whether you are a freelance person employed in a corporate job, or whatsoever you are doing. Basis Saturn's placement in different zodiac signs, what sort of work ethics is expected out of you, how you should be doing and conducting your job, your work, that is something which we will try to understand in this video. So okay guys, now starting first with let's say for example, if you have Saturn placed in the Aries sign, so guys, what does it tell about? So you have to understand this thing that Saturn is a planet which wants you to take accountability, responsibility, and to be very much grounded and live in the reality. That's what Saturn wants out of you. Like that is the only reason Saturn does not want you to, or Saturn will never give you something till the time you're not responsible, you're not accountable, or you have not earned the fruits of that gift which Saturn could otherwise bless you with. So guys, the point which I'm trying to say over here is that for someone who has got Saturn placed in the Aries, it hardly matters how high how higher in the society, in the hierarchy you're operating right now. Saturn in the Aries wants you to get your hands dirty. Saturn in the Aries wants you to be physically engaged in your business, in your line of work as well. A lot many times people have got this mindset that just because all the hardship and all of the work of getting my hands dirty to get into the nitty-gritty of the business could have been the thing when I just started my career, but now just because I have rose to such a heights, now I just need to direct people or exert my authority rather than being physically involved in the nitty-gritty of the business. But just because your Saturn is placed in the Aries, these are the kind of qualities which you have to express. Second thing is that, because guys, you can understand that Aries in the original Kal Purush Kundli represents the physical self, the first house energy. So that is how Saturn wants you to behave. Second thing is that, guys, a lot many times it has been seen that Saturn in the Aries also wants you to take the responsibility, be there for any of the situation where people are in some dire need or help, and Saturn also wants you to be very quick when it comes down to your decision making. Moving ahead, guys. Now when it comes down to the kind of work ethics which could be attached with all those people who have got Saturn placed in the Taurus sign. So guys, try to understand this thing because when it comes down to the Taurus is a earth energy. Taurus has got a lot to do with the fixity of the purpose. So for all those people who have Saturn in the Taurus, goal setting becomes very important for them. Like in whichever sphere you are in, why you are doing what you are doing right now, what are the possibility of success, chances of success over there. So a proper SWOT analysis like strength, weakness, opportunities, threat, you have to take into consideration. For someone who has got a Saturn placed in the Taurus, you could not be just experimenting with your professional life. You couldn't be just just kind of blindly taking shots in your professional life. So whatsoever professional decision you will take, there has to be proper research, proper insight, proper realistic vision which has to goes into play. And yes guys, because Taurus, which also tells about ethics, values and morals, and you could not find any other planet which honor and respect people with strong virtues other than the planet Saturn. So that also tells about that in whichever capacity you are operating, you are working, integrity is something which is strongly expected out of you for Saturn to be happy with you. Moving ahead, guys, now let's say for example, for all those people who have got Saturn placed in the Gemini sign. So guys, you have to understand this thing that Gemini is a very frivolous energy, and like the way that is the only reason even Mars does not like the frivolousness or casual approach of the Mercurian signs. So the point or the lesson or the work ethics which could be attached for all those people who have Saturn being placed in the Gemini sign is that because Gemini has got this reputation of being dual, being a multitasker, like jack of all trades. So what Saturn expects out of you is that how expert you could be in the things which you will take in your hand. A lot many times what has been seen in the case of the Gemini prominent people is that they might have too many things on their platter at one given point of time, and when you get deeper into it, you will find that they're not even best in any of the one field. Like the way I mentioned this thing, jack of all trades and master of none. So these all are the areas where you have to be consciously very aware. Again guys, Saturn's placement in the Gemini is not something where you only have to relate everything with the classical text that Saturn in the Gemini will manifest this results when Saturn Dasha will come, and then Saturn will open some new initiative, new opportunities for you, new connection. No, if you have Saturn in the Gemini, irrespective of the fact that Saturn is active in the Dasha, in the transit or not, your work ethics are somehow being monitored by the Saturn every time whenever you are doing anything pertaining to your professional life. This could be professional decision making, going for any important meetings, starting a new business, hiring someone new, whatsoever you are doing, Saturn is already observing you, looking at you. And what kind of work ethics is expected out of you is to be a master rather than being casual, being frivolous in multiple things. Now guys, when it comes down to the lesson for all those people who have Saturn being placed in the Cancer sign. So guys, now as you know this thing that when it comes down to the Cancer sign, there are a lot of the emotions and feelings which are attached over there, and Saturn is a planet which can actually completely dry your feelings, and that is how Saturn wants you to behave. That let's say for example, in whichever nature of work you are operating, and that is the only reason guys why Saturn sees like moon or sun as its arch enemy, because the only thing which could come in the way of you doing your job, fulfilling your responsibility, is either the emotions or the ego. So these all are the things which Saturn does not honor or respect or acknowledge much. So the lesson which goes to the people who have Saturn in the Cancer sign is that sometimes you might have to take those harsh decisions which your subconsciousness is not allowing you. Like the way, if you remember, that was the similar kind of emotional turmoil which Arjun also went through at the time when he was on that battlefield, and that is the only reason Lord Krishna has to give the discourse of the Gita in order to awaken the sense of duty and responsibility in Arjuna. So that is the only reason guys. The only one thing which I have to say for all those people who have Saturn being placed in the Cancer is that sometimes you have to compromise on your degree and sense of emotions just to do the hard job which other people might not be willing to do. I still remember guys, in one of this podcast I was just hearing that this guy, he used to be a cop in Canada, Indian born, Indian descent, and he was saying this thing that even as a cop, when there is some bad news, like for example we have to give a news to a family whose one of the family member has died. This could be an accident or whatsoever the nature of death is. So it's very hard job. Sometimes you have to be properly trained. We have to train our officers as well, that how to deal with people who are like, you have to suddenly give them this news that some of their family member whom they are expecting back in the home is not gonna come back ever now. So that is the kind of work ethics is expected out of you for all those people who have Saturn being placed in the Cancer sign. And yes guys, doing something for the public welfare is something where Saturn is also going to be happy with you. Now guys, let's say for example, for all those people who have Saturn being placed in the Leo. So guys, again, a lot many times people will say this thing that, oh, if Saturn is placed in the Leo, so that means you have to be humble, you have to tone down your ego, then only Saturn will be happy. No, it's not like that. This is not how astrology works. Astrology is about, this is what you have got and now you have to live with it. You have to mold your life along with it, rather than trying to make it something which it is not. You have got certain planetary alignments for a specific reason. So for all those people who have Saturn being placed in the Leo, the lesson for you guys is, the work ethics for you guys is that you do not have to work or behave like the way Saturn in Aries person has to do. And what Saturn want out of you is that you have to sit and you have to be in a place where you are working more with your talents, where you are directing people in order to get the job done. So this is how Saturn wants you to behave. And let's say for example, if you are not operating like that, trust me, Saturn will not help you build an empire. If you actually want to do something great, something big, influence people on a mass level, Saturn only holds this power to give you. And just because you have Saturn in the Leo, I don't care how other people say, other astrologers say that Saturn in the Leo means your Saturn is now gone. It's a gone case. It's not like that. You have Saturn in the Leo, that means your work ethics have to be like a king. You have to be in a position where you are directing people, monitoring people, exerting authority on people, rather than getting your hands dirty. So let's say for example, even if you are a creator in any form, you're an entrepreneur in any form, so your job is not to get your hands dirty and get the job done. You have to hire the right set of people, and all what is expected out of you is that how you strategize, how you maneuvers your strategies, your business execution, how you hire the right set of people and get the job done rather than getting the job done by yourself. Now guys, for all those people who have Saturn placed in the Virgo sign, so guys, now you know this thing that for all those people who have Saturn in the Virgo, one good thing which has been seen with this placement is that generally this comes by default to these people, that you will find these people to be very astute with their planning or long-term planning, and that is how Saturn wants you to behave. Because guys, all the Virgo qualities, like Virgo is generally is connected with the intelligence, with the perfection, with the discipline. So all these are the qualities which Saturn actually honors and acknowledges on anyone. And trust me, you have got such a alignment that I'm very much sure that in whichever sphere of life you will be operating, discipline will definitely be an integral part of your work ethics or your philosophy. And this is how Saturn is going to be getting happy with you. Second thing is that guys, in whichever capacity you are operating, you are working, Saturn in the Virgo actually wants you to like be of service to the greater cause as well. So you might be disciplined, you might be doing good in your line of work, but how far you can go in order to extend your services or your help, your aid to other people, that will also be expected out of you, because Saturn, your Saturn is placed in this zodiac sign. Now guys, when we talk about Saturn being placed in the Libra, so guys, one thing which I want to say over here is that Saturn in the Libra just expect out of you that you need to have some distinctive, unique selling point of yours. Like there has to be some unique point about you which puts you on the forefront. So where you are like very desired in the job market, you are very much needed by your clients. That is how you are operating. Even if you are a performing artist or something, so your moves, your dance move, your way of delivering the line, the way you design something, the way you create a art or craft, there has to be something of the signature style of yours. If you have Saturn placed in the Libra, then only Saturn is going to be happy with you. And also guys, because Libra, if I were to describe Libra in one word, so that is going to be of balance. So for all those people who have Saturn in the Libra, I would say that for you, you have to balance all areas of the life. You cannot be someone like you are just obsessed with your work, or you're only obsessed with your friends, or you're only obsessed with your family. In your case, there has to be balance in all areas of your life. How you manage, how you balance, how you manage your interpersonal relationship skills, that will be your key to success, specifically for someone who has got Saturn placed in the Libra. Now guys, for all those people who have Saturn placed in the Scorpio, couple of things which I want to say over here is that only take up those profession where you can put your heart and soul. Like there has to be that passion, that obsession for whatsoever you are doing as a part of your work. Second thing is that secrecy is something which is very strongly expected out of you. Now that does not mean that you have to work in a secretive services or in a covert job to behave or work like that. It's just like that even if you're working as a banker, even if you're working as a influencer, never ever reveal your future plans before in hand till the time the plan has not successfully executed. Third thing is that guys, after passion, after secrecy, I would say that when it comes down to the Scorpio energy, transformation becomes very important. So transformation becomes very important, research becomes very important in whichever field or capacity you are operating. You always you have to be unraveling some puzzles, some mysteries, that how could you be better. So only if you are engaged in research, you can land at something which is very unique, and that is how you can transform your prevalent current circumstances. So yes guys, these are some of the cues for all those people who have Saturn placed in the Scorpio. It hardly matters what does classical text say about this. Just because now you have got this placement, you have to live with it, and the best way of living with it is the embracing the right approach which Scorpio is asking out of you. Now guys, for all those people who have Saturn placed in the Sagittarius, So guys, it is very easy, it's very simple, because when it comes down to the Sagittarius, they are the actual light giver, or the kind of the guide of the whole zodiac belt. So what is expected out of you is that your work ethics should inspire other people, unless and until you're not operating with this mindset, where first of all you need to have a focused goals regarding your career ladder. Second thing is that inspirational acts, whatsoever you are doing, in whichsoever capacity you can guide, you can inspire people, that will become very important for you, because this is how Saturn wants you to behave. So more than the ethics, more than the morals, or being cosmopolitan, always open to learning. And guys, one more thing, because generally what happens is that when it comes down to Sagittarius, you have to understand the axis of the Gemini and the Sagittarius. Gemini has got everything to do with the learning, and Sagittarius has got everything to do with the sharing. So whatsoever you have learned, you have gained in your professional journey, there has to be one point where you have to start sharing it with the other people as well. Like all those people, all those youngsters, all those freshers who are just starting up, if you actually want to honor your Saturn, help them, guide these people who are just starting up, who are just at that fledgling stage in their career. Help them, guide them, mentor them. That is how you can best utilize the energies of your planet Saturn. Now guys, for all those people who have got Saturn placed in the Capricorn, so yes guys, this is a very good placement, because Capricorn is an energy where we are talking about some strong actions and being accountable and responsible for those outcomes as well. So let's say for example, in whichever capacity you are operating in your life, dutiful and being responsible is something which is strongly expected out of you. And again guys, when we talk about responsibility, so Saturn in the Capricorn people are the tested most in the life. Now people have got this wrong notion. People have this notion that if Saturn is exalted, if Saturn is placed in its own sign, so life is going to get easy for these people, everything will come easy to them. You do not understand. For these people, the challenges, tests and trials becomes more arduous for these people, most difficult for these people. So the point over here is that in whichever capacity or whatsoever is happening in your life, whatsoever is coming to you as a part of your responsibilities on your shoulder, rather than being a crybaby, accept it. Welcome it with the open arms. That is something which is expected out of you if you have your Saturn placed in the Capricorn sign. Just because guys, you are blessed with this capacity to shoulder some heavy responsibilities, and only after proving your mettle you will reach that position of power and position of influence. Now guys, for all those people who have got Saturn placed in the Aquarius sign, so definitely guys, when it comes down to the Aquarian energy, innovation plays a very important role. Being a part of the collective plays a very important role. And also guys, because for someone who has got Saturn placed in the Aquarius, it becomes very important how attuned you are to the trends, to the changing trends, to the pulse of the collective. Only if you are adapting or kind of updating yourself to the latest changes and trends in the society, in the professional realm. Now let's say for example, if you know that your job now is in danger because of some new revolution, new updates in the industry. So are you updating yourself as per the changes in the industry or not? So all of that will become very important. So for someone who has got Saturn in the Aquarius, only one thing which Saturn expect out of you or as a part of your work ethics is that how strongly, how rapidly are you changing, are you adapting, or you're updating yourself. And definitely guys, for Saturn in the Aquarius, whatsoever will come to you will only come after only becoming a part of the collective. If your Saturn is in the Aquarius, you cannot achieve or attain anything as a solo person. You have to be a part of the collective, and you have to somehow kind of being in this mode of servitude as well, that your ultimate driving force and factor has to be that how your actions eventually will be helping and healing other people as well. And lastly guys, for all those people who have Saturn placed in the Pisces sign, so guys, as you know that when it comes down to the work style or ethics which Saturn expect out of you is that Definitely, the defining qualities of the Pisces is how sacrificing you could be, how much of the faith you have, how much could you surrender yourself for the highest cause. And this is what Saturn expects out of you as a part of your work culture, your work ethics as well. Like whenever it comes down to zeroing in any of the organization, sector, team, people, or the bosses, whatsoever research you have to do, whatsoever doubts you have in your mind, or whatsoever devil advocate you want to play, do that beforehand. But once you have committed to a team, to a project, to a cause, then you should surrender yourself 100%, where your faith should never get shook up. That is one thing which Saturn expected out of you. Because guys, like the way all the qualities of the Pisces which I just explained, the flaw side of the Pisces is that it also represents the turbulence of the deepest of the water as well. It is also a sign of duality as well. So the only one thing which I have to say or add over here is that for all those people who have Saturn placed in the Pisces, that you have got this capacity to being away from the distraction of the world, completely engrossed, engaged in your line of work. When it comes down to making the sacrifices for the cause or for your line of work, you have got that highest of the potential and capacity. But the only thing is that whatsoever you want to do or whatsoever doubts you have, uncertainties you have to tame that, answer that, or silent your those chattering of the mind beforehand. But once you have committed to any project, any cause, then there has to be 100% dedication and commitment towards it. So let's say for example, if your life from any of the real estate corporate job, it put you on the path of the creativity, in the path of the spirituality. Now you should not waver once you have made up your mind that this is where your calling is. That is how Saturn wants you to behave. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.